Hey, what's up, guys? So, decided to do a little research to see like what TVs in 2018 were like on top of the food chain, like what TVs were the king of 2018 when it comes in terms of brightness. So I kind of like dumbed it down to like three TVs: the Vizio P series, the Quantum, the Samsung Q9 FN, and the Q8 FN. Those like really the big TVs when it comes to brightness for 2018. Besides the Z9F that's coming out later on this month, but for now, these are the three brightest TVs out right now. So I just decided to like do a little comparison between the Sony 930E, which I have, compared to these 2018 TVs. And I kind of based this off the R Things website, because they're kind of like the ones who like really go in depth with TV like performance and stuff like that. Not everything I vouch for them for, but they're kind of like the ones that you kind of go to when it comes to looking at TVs and stuff like that. But anyway, so I just wanted to compare the X930E to the other three to see what it's about and like what's difference in brightness. So we're gonna start off with the real scene HDR. That's basically watching the HDR movie from all its glory. And right here, the 930 tops out at 1442. The P series tops in at 1368, which is not bad, but it's still not beating the 930E. The Q9F now is at 908, which makes the P series brighter when it comes to watching HDR compared to the Q9FN. Not saying that the Vizio is better than the Samsung, which I know for a fact it's not better than the Samsung, but we're talking about brightness here. So the P series has it over the Q9F. But when you go down to the Q8F, I should say Q8FN, because the old model is the Q8F. But the Q8FN is like it's really down there. It's in the 600s when it comes to watching HDR movies and HDR content in general. So that's actually the worst TV for 2018 when it comes to brightness. Well, I'm not gonna say when it comes to brightness, but for these top three TVs, if you know what I'm saying. Now, when it comes to 2% window, you gotta understand that's a very small window. Like that kind of window you'll see maybe in like if you watching something with stars or like something very small. That's when you will see like a performance when it comes to HDR. And basically the 930E, it tops out at 11, let's say 1200. The P series is really bright when it comes on 2% window, which is 2132. These are nits. Q9FN tops out at 1695, which beats my TV. And if you go down to the Q8FN, that's still in last place. But you gotta understand that the main feature right here is 2% window, which is not a full screen. It's not a full screen HDR, so you're not really gonna benefit from that unless it's like maybe let's just say like a loading icon. That icon is gonna be the brightest on the P series than any other TV, because it's a 2% window. It's a very small window. As you go up for a 10% window, that's a little bit bigger. And my TV is the 1540 nits, which is surprisingly bright for a 10% window. The P series is 2433. The Q9FN is 1763. And of course, the Q8F is dead last again, which is not too far from my TV, which is 1540. It's about what 300 nits more, around 300 nits more. So that's kind of good for the Q8F. But then again, like I said, that's a 10% window. Now, as you notice, as the window percentage go up on the windows, the numbers go down because that's a lot of brightness for a TV to hold when it comes to HDR. So 25% window for my TV is 1025, 1449 for the P series, and 1057 for the Q9FN, which is roughly around the same. My TV and the Q9 is kind of the same kind of peak brightness when it comes to 25% window. But the P series, it got our TVs on that by a good margin, like maybe for something 500 nits around it too. And Q8FN is dead last again. Now 50% window is half the screen, which is good. I would say 50% and up is probably like good when it comes to HDR. And my TV tops out at 866. The P series is 1094, and the Q9 is 812. So I'm thinking that the for brightness, my TV and the Q9FN is roughly about the same kind of image when it comes to brightness, and the Q8 is down there again. I did not know the Q8FN wasn't that really bright. I wouldn't have included it in this, but I just heard around town that was a bright TV, but it doesn't seem like it right now. Now 100% peak brightness. This is the full screen, but what it tops out at, this basically is what it tops out at when it's a full screen, like the peak brightness of it when it's at full screen white. So my TV tops out at 764. The P series is 826. The Q9 is 678, and the Q8 is 500 nits. Now, 100% peak brightness doesn't necessarily mean that the TV is dim. It's just at that right moment when the TV hits that peak brightness of whatever content they were showing. That's what the TV measured as. So I wouldn't really look at this as in the best because it's not sustained like these other ones over here. It's just a peak for that moment. So if you want to really see what HDR is about, you need to look at the sustained window because that like defines what HDR, how long the HDR will be bright. So when we move on to the sustain now for the 2%, my TV tops out at 1155. P series is 2101. Q9FN is 1677, which is kind of good. It kept these, and the Q8 is 946. This is basically how long it stayed at that percentage of nits at a 2% window, this is kind of good for the P series. But before I continue, I need to touch on the P series. It's Vizio is like a bargain brand, so you can't expect to see like it might have what it have over the other TVs is brightness, obviously, but you gotta think about the algorithm and how the TV performs and how it defines HDR. It's not gonna be as good as the other TVs. I'm just letting you know from now. It's not gonna be as good. The picture quality is not gonna be as good as other TVs, but it does have us in the brightness region. Now for a 10% window, my TV is 1510. The Vizio is 2395. That's a very high number. The Q9FN is 1727, and the Q8 is 1200 nits sustained at a 10% window, which is good for the Q8F. So looking at it right now, I don't think the Q8F is like a really bad TV, because when it comes to HDR, you want to look at the sustained and not the peak. You want to stay in the sustained region, and 1200 nits at a 10% window is okay, but 10% window, like I said before, is not really that big. 25% window, that's when stuff start getting a little tricky. My TV tops out at 1002. The P series is 1443. The Q9FN is 1052. And the Q8 actually beats the Q9 when it comes to 25% window. So I think the Q8 might be brighter when it comes to 25% window on some certain scenes. I'm just thinking while I'm trying to talk. So I kind of think that the Q8F might be, well, I'm gonna say it's gonna be better than the Q9, but 25% is kind of a good, kind of a good margin in theory. But let's just move on. I put the color tab up. Again, I'm gonna need the color, but I don't need to color anything. Now, 50% window, that's half the screen now. Like I said, I think 50% window is when you really see the true calling of your TV at 50% windows. So, that's my chair. So don't get any wise ideas. That's my chair in the background. So 50% window, the 930 is sustained at 855. The P series is sustained at 1088, and the Q9 is sustained at 812. Q8 is not far behind with 681. Now 100% window, that's the creme de la creme right there. That's what you need right there. 100% window sustained in HDR. My TV sustained peak brightness of, not peak brightness, this sustained HDR at 751 nits. P series sustained it at 822 nits. So let me just highlight this real quick. This is the most important right here when it comes to HDR. 100% window sustained. Vizio P is 822. Samsung Q9 is 677, and the Q8 is 493. So looking at these numbers here, I'm going to say that my TV is not far from the P series, and it beats the Q9, and it definitely beats the Q8. So overall right now, in the 100% sustained window, the 930 is actually compared to the Vizio. The Q9 is compared to the Vizio too, but it's kind of below by like 200, I think it is. And mine's is the 100, below 100 from the Vizio P series. But like I said before, the Vizio P series is not really a high end brand like that. It's just, they just boosted a lot of LEDs in it, and it's just over bright. But like I said before, the algorithm and everything it's gonna be all messed up. So I don't know if you guys are interested in that TV. If you want a super bright TV but not that much good of a picture quality, you're gonna go ahead and get the P series. But for 2017 TV, this 930E is still up there with flagship Q9F. In some cases even better. Let me see if I can highlight what the Q9F beats. We're gonna just take out the Vizio because, like I said, that's not really a high-end TV. It's kind of a budget TV. So let's just cross out the Q9, Q8, and let's just cross out the Vizio P series. And let's just do the numbers between the 930 and the Q9F. I didn't include the Z9D because we all know already that's a 2017 TV, and that's going way back there. Nobody wants to go way back there. We all know that exceeds in a lot of brightness windows. So let me just see what my TV beats compared to the Q9F. It beats it in the real scene. 2%. The Q9 got the 2%. The Q9 has a 10%. They're kind of tied a little bit, but I give it to the Q9. 50% window. They're kind of tied a little bit, but I give it to the 930. 100% window. The 930 is better. 2% window. The Q9 has that, hands down. 10% window. And not too far off, but you know the Q9 gets that. 25%. They're actually they're kind of tied. You're really not gonna see a difference. But then again, it is by 50 more nits, so let's just give it to the Q9. 50% window. The 930 has that, and of course, 100% window. The 930 has that. So it's like a pattern. All the most important ones, the 930 beats the Q9F. All the important windows. The real scene peak brightness, the 50% window, and the 100% window. The sustained 50% window and the sustained 100% window. The 930 has. So for a flagship TV, which is the Q9F and a high-end 930E, I'm gonna say that this TV is still holding its own in 2018. I don't know what the Z9F brings, but I'm gonna say I'm pretty happy with my purchase of the 930. I don't think I'm getting rid of this TV. Honestly, I don't think I will be getting rid of this TV. Even if the Z9F comes out and it's a decent price, I don't think it's worth it. I think I'm just gonna wait for at least 12-bit TVs or some kind of new thing that Sony is gonna do. I think they have something called CLED or something like that. Let's just see what the future brings. But honestly, everybody should look into this bad boy right here, Sony X930E. It's a wonderful TV. Besides the brightness, it does everything flawlessly. I'm sorry to be riding this TV's whatever, but this TV is great. So other than that, I just wanted to show you real quick how this TV is holding its own in 2017. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care.